everyone who's put their name on the list, there'll still be an opportunity for speaking. And we have probably two lists over there. One is Board of Health and one is the regular meeting. So if you want the regular public comment, please make a note of that. Okay. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Board of Health of West Windsor Township for November 10th, 2025. Allison, will you please call the roll?
Gawas. Here. Jeevers.
Here.
Indell.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
Whitfield.
And have we adequately noticed?
Yes, we were adequately noticed on January 17th, 2025 to the Times in the Princeton Packet, posted in the municipal building and on the township website and filed with the township clerk. Please stand for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm now going to open public comment. For those who are not aware, we have two agendas tonight. The first agenda is just for the Board of Health. So this would be public comment only for people who have comment relevant to the Board of Health. Do we have anybody that wishes to make any first public comment for the Board of Health meeting at this time? If not, then I'm going to go ahead and close the Board of Health public comment. And we have one action item, the minutes, I believe.
Yes.
Allison.
Oh,
Okay.
here. Okay, present.
It snuck in here.
Okay. Approval of minutes, Board of Health, August 11th, 2025.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Salute.
Second.
Gawas.
Yes.
Jeevers.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Whitfield.
Yes.
Mandel.
Yes. Thank you. And now we're going to have any kind of discussion for the Board of Health. Mayor or Melina, do you have anything to say at this point?
I don't.
No, Mayor? No, thank you. And now we're going to have Jill from the Board of Health give a couple of presentations. And at that point, we're going to then, after the presentations or during, I guess after each presentation, we'll see if anybody on the council has any questions or has any comments to make. Thank you. So Jill, you can take it away.
Good evening. Thank you for giving us some time. We have several members of staff here today that are responsible for all the hard work that you see in the quarterly report. I know we just distributed the third quarter, and those reports have a lot of statistics in it. And Gitanjali Jane is with us. She is our public health nurse, and she's going to give you a little insight into the outbreak reports and what that involves in our department when you see a 1 or 2 under outbreaks, all the hard work that's going on behind the scenes.
Hello, good evening, everyone. As just said, my name is Gitanjali.
Can you please speak directly into the mic? Can you move it a little closer? Otherwise, it doesn't. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gitanjali, and I'm the public health nurse for the department. And thanks for allowing me to present today. I will be talking about the outbreak response that we do as a local health department. But before I start, I just wanted to bring your attention to the COVID-19 vaccine clinic that we are offering on November 13th between the hours of 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This will be in collaboration with the Wegmans Pharmacy and the Mercer County Division of Health. We will be offering vaccines to everyone eligible 6 months and up. Either insured or uninsured will have the opportunity to get the vaccine at this clinic. And also just wanted to let you know that we have successfully completed flu vaccinations that has been offered to the residents of the township and even the employees who work in our town. And with the West Windsor budget funding and the state funding, we have received some flu vaccines and COVID vaccines, which I am offering to the township residents, specifically who are homebound or bedbound and cannot go out of their home to get the vaccine. So I did send out the flyers at the Facebook and other social medias and the township website, and please help promote this. This is a wonderful opportunity for homebound residents to get the vaccine. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the outbreak response that we do. And trust me, this will be the top tip of the iceberg that I'm going to talk about. Can we, next slide, please. So what is an outbreak? Any increase in the disease above its usual rate, which will have a common source or a cause in a specific population at a defined geographic area and in a specific time. That meets the definition of an outbreak. The common sources that are listed there on the screen are the sources that we deal with in our health department. It could be foodborne, waterborne. Vector-borne means anything that is carried by other species and is transferred to humans. And then there's blood-borne pathogens that can cause the outbreak. Next slide, please. The graph that represents here is basically a history from last 5 years for the outbreaks that we have worked on. The downward trends that we, of course, expect because of what we have experienced during the pandemic of COVID-19. In 2021, we dealt with 100% of COVID-19 outbreaks. The 31 number represents 100% of the COVID-19. The number 49 in 2022 has 94% of the COVID-19 outbreaks, going down to the 19 outbreaks that are 78% of them of COVID-19. And then 50% of COVID-19 outbreaks in 2024 and 40% in 2025. The other outbreaks investigated during this time period has been the GI outbreaks. The GI means gastrointestinal illness outbreaks, the hand-foot-mouth disease, the conjunctivitis, and other respiratory illnesses like influenza-like illness or flu outbreaks. The downward trend, of course, is expected, and it in no means, it does not reflect the individual cases that we investigate on a daily basis. And those investigation leads us to limit or prevent such outbreaks from even occurring. So this graph does not report those cases that we work on a daily basis. Next slide, please. So now that we know what an outbreak is, let's talk about how we identify the outbreak. There are certain laws established by the State Department of Health that supports compulsory reporting from institutions, and the congregate setting over there means like assisted living where people live in group together. So like assisted living, daycare, schools, colleges, group homes, those are required by the law to report any outbreak that happens at their facility. Then there can be individual reporting, like a healthcare provider or a family member of the residents that are staying there can call us and report us about the outbreak. Even while investigating the cases during our surveillance, sometimes we find a common linkage between certain cases, and that leads us to identify the outbreak. And then lastly, there are certain toolkits established by the state health department as well that leads us to identify to the outbreak when we get those reports from those surveillance tools. Next slide, next. Thank you. That brings us to, once we identify the outbreak, it brings us to our phase 2, which is the outbreak response. Upon the identification of the outbreak, our primary, the most important object that we have is the mitigation to control its spread. And for this, there are some key steps that we take. These steps are not necessarily particularly in linear order or one after the other. They could be simultaneously at the same time. We determine who is at the risk. We identify the vulnerable population to make sure that to keep them safe and provide guidance so that the mitigation can start. We determine the causes of the disease too. We try to find out what could be the source, the transmission, how it is spreading in that facility. This is done mostly by the lab tests, the interviews, the follow-ups with the facility director or the administrative staff. And then we have open communication during the process with the continued, we provide them the continuous guidance, the resources and the education during this time. And the timely guidance is the key during this time because every outbreak has to be limited and every virus or a bacteria has their lifespan and it has to be controlled during that time period. Around this process, we also determine the effectiveness of all the control measures we are doing to make sure that they are effective and whatever needs to be evaluated and changed during this course of process, we do that. While doing all this, we are also collecting the data, the information. We are communicating with the state on a daily basis, giving them the data as well, which goes to the CDC and the state data system. And this all helps us to even help us to for our future outbreaks to learn from those whatever we are doing. During the response, we also sometimes communicate with the subject matters expert at the state in case if they have certain inputs for specific disease that we are working. Sometimes like had happened with the COVID-19, which was a very novel for all of us. So we did get the experts during that time. And then we also conduct some site inspections if needed to visit the site and make sure that they are doing what is to be done. They're doing due diligence to mitigate the spread. Next slide, please. For the surveillance and investigation, we do use some tools, and I don't want to go too much in detail of all the tools and the steps for those responses. But you can see like there's an Excel sheet, which is just one example of the line list that we use, which involves like signs and symptoms, the onset date, and all the details that the facility gives us, which actually gives us like a picture for the outbreak that's happening at the facility. So we do the intake report, then there is like a during the line list, there is revisions and there is a long process that involves paper trail behind it. Like I already mentioned, the site inspection and subject matters involvement during this process as well. Next slide. So when there is no new case reported for 2 incubation period of that disease, the outbreak is considered concluded. And this is determined in collaboration with the state epidemiologist. Outbreak closure report that we submit has to be submitted within 30 days of our when it's concluded. Once that happens, we also evaluate the process and we gather the data gathered, we share that with the state. So the epidemiologic curve is created and the information is shared with the facility, and a survey is done also to make sure that we all would change something for future, learning from whatever happened during the previous outbreak. And the next slide, please. Actually, that's the end of my presentation. If anyone has any question or comment, I'm sorry.
Anybody on the council have any questions about the outbreak? Mayor? I'm curious, like, let's say you hear that there's 5 cases of measles in the town. Okay. What, I assume there would be some way of informing the public and giving them some direction. And can you give a little idea what would happen?
So that is, of course, an outbreak right there. Even with one case, I don't even go to 5 cases. Even if we get one case, it involves lot of contact tracing, and it involves partnership, like the stakeholders, other people. Like if the person travel, like say with plane, we are reaching out. The state is reaching out to the airport authorities. If the person traveled with a car, the Uber, whatever have you, those contacts are identified throughout. So the 21 days prior the exposure, like from the date the rash began, 21 days prior to that, the whole 21 day, the list is there for each day where the person went, restaurant, shopping, grocery, like whatever have you. The life story of that person for 21 days is collected. And then all the individuals that are identified during those 21 days are notified. So there is a sample letter that we have prepared that will go out to all those individuals. The state is always involved during this whole process. And then they also do the broadcast on the state website. There will be some broadcast on the township website as well. And we individually call all the contacts during the process, like to let them know that they have been exposed, and then guide them, give them the guidelines, whatever, and then find out if they need the quarantine, because there are certain criteria they have to meet to, if they need to quarantine. If they are fully immunized and they don't need to quarantine, but if not, then they will be asked to stay home for 21 days until they get the vaccine, the PPEs. It's called the prophylactic treatment or exposure. So based on that, if they are 21 days quarantine, then they'll stay home. They're also guided, and I can tell to everyone, that if they get that information that they're exposed, not to go and see ER or healthcare provider before they call them, to have those places prepare for their visit, so they don't just go and show up and expose more people there. So that is very important in the control of the spread. Measles is one of the highly contagious disease, the most contagious disease, even more than COVID or flu. So the control measures and the steps to be taken have to be much more aggressive. I think,
So to what level do we backtrack the
I'm sorry?
exposure? To what level do we track the exposure? Is it the immediate people who were exposed, or we go beyond that?
And are we talking about measles?
Measles or any outbreak.
So
During
each,
COVID, I remember we had like this 3rd tier, 4th tier, whatever. So I don't know
Yeah.
if we have that. as
so
well.
every virus or every bacteria will have their own way of spreading, right? So like with measles, a person, if is infected with measles, is in this room, walks out, 2 hours, even after, within those 2 hours, this room still has that virus. With COVID, there was like 6 feet distance. So it depends on what kind of exposure it
Exposure.
is.
Okay.
Yes.
And whether the virus lives a certain amount of time in the air, and whether it's foodborne, airborne, waterborne, or whatever. So
Yes.
each one has its own set of criteria.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
But with something like measles, without, of course, giving anybody's name out, the public would get notified that measles was
Correct.
in the area,
Yes.
and to be careful.
Yes.
Okay.
And the sample letter that we have is a general letter. We do not, even during COVID, we did not identify any IDs. It is a confidential letter, which with no names on it. It just says like, okay, you have been exposed on this date from this time to this time. That's about it.
Okay. But
Okay.
everybody the public that you may not know has been exposed, the general public would find out also, correct? By announcing it.
Yeah, with the announcement, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me,
With measles, there would be a public notification.
And you work very closely with the school district.
Yes, I do. I work
Right.
with closely with, not just not just the school district, even the long-term cares, I mean, the assisted livings in our area, the businesses,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, thank you for your
Thanks.
presentation. Very informative.
Sure,
Any,
thanks.
any other council, anybody questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next would be, did you have anything else? You want to go to the draft ordinance?
Yes, so we also have a draft ordinance, and Nikita Brancato from the Health Department is our Manager of Environmental Health Services, and she's going to give a brief overview of the proposal and answer some questions.
Hi, my name is Nikita. I'm from the Health Department. I just wanted to go over two things before we get started on the proposal as well. The first is that we just had our rabies clinic in West Windsor. We had roughly about 50 dogs and cats come through on November 6th. And I also wanted to mention that we still have two more opportunities, one being December 4th in Heightstown First Aid Building from 4:30 to 6:30, and the next being on January 8th in the coming year at Robbinsville Public Works Garage. So West Windsor residents are invited to those two locations as well. So if you missed your opportunity, you have two more shots to come. And registration, we have flyers on our website, on the township website. There's a QR code or clickable link on there. And then if you're not sure, you can always give us our office a call and we can help you register on there as well. The second is an opportunity next week that we're having. It's for a consumer products lead testing event. So when we have children that are found with elevated blood lead levels, there's multiple reasons. It's not only lead paint. And in West Windsor, in our community, we see it's usually not lead paint. Our homes are usually renovated, upgraded, or newer than when lead paint was around. So we have an opportunity for people to bring household items to our office to get tested with the machine that we use on November 19th from 1 to 3 p.m. And those items include things such as bowls, spices, pots, pans, and toys. We do have a preferred pre-registration if you can, just so we know how many people are going to be coming through. But if not, that's okay. It's going to be at our office at the health department. And like I said, that's going to be 1 to 3 p.m. If you have any questions on that as well, you can give our office a call.
Thanks. Do you have any thoughts as to what you see most of the time as the issue? Is it like old pots or something, or?
So we see pots, pans, we see a good amount of spices when it's not household lead paint. And every now and again, you see an item that can be bought in a store in a store here. Sometimes I would say majority, it's when people bring stuff from another country, but there are a good amount of stuff that make it through to stores here that people are not aware of that do have it. So it doesn't hurt to get it checked out if it's something that if you have young children that if they have a lot of mouth behavior, they could be exposing, or if you're cooking with it, it heats up in that vessel. But yeah, that's an opportunity for any resident that wants to come to get their stuff tested if they're not sure. All right, the draft resolution that we're proposing to amend the Township Code Section 82-12. We had two primary objectives. The first was to increase annual fees for public bathing place licenses for facilities that have more than one body of water. So currently, if they're a seasonal pool, they pay a $300 licensing fee. If they are an annual, they pay a $500. That currently covers any amount of bodies of water they have. So what we're asking is that if they have more than one swimming pool, they have a pool, a spa, a hot tub, a slide, a wading pool, any extra on top of one swimming pool, that there would be an additional fee added on. The second would be to establish reinspection fees for those public recreational bathing places and retail food establishments who fail to correct violations if they're in conditional or unsatisfactory standing upon reinspection. So just to go into that a bit, you guys have the draft. I also have, Alice, if you have the flow chart. I kind of created a little flow chart so it's easy to understand, because if you're not an inspector, it kind of gets very confusing on what and when. So for the reinspection fees, we notated, so if this is a recreational bathing facility that an inspector goes out to, they will receive an initial inspection twice a year. So that upon that initial inspection, they could pass or fail. So if they pass, there's no further follow-up. They receive what's called a satisfactory rating. They don't see us till their second inspection in the year. If they fail, they are required to get a reinspection and they would be issued a conditional rating, which means that we will be coming back. Upon that reinspection, that second visit, when they pass, they wouldn't see us again. Once again, satisfactory rating issued, we'll see you later in the year. If they do fail that second time, that's when the reinspection fee would be issued. For recreational bathing facilities, we are proposing the $150 reinspection fee. And then just to show how it would progress, I added one more step. So when they would get reinspected again after that, it would be the same cycle again. So if they passed, they would have to pay that incurred $150 fee before their next licensing period. If they fail, it tackles on another $150 because we have to keep coming back due to violations that affect health and safety. So it doesn't get to this point unless there is conditions that deem health and safety concerns in both categories, in recreational bathing and in the retail food. So this also helps prevent us to get us to the point that we're having to question if we need to take court action. So we're hoping that this would help motivate some of the pool companies to or pool locations to comply when asked upon on that those first two inspections. Next one. So the retail food basically mimics the same way, though the fees are a little different for the retail food. So from their initial foods usually get one inspection a year if they're low risk 1, 2, we call them. If they're higher risk foods or full restaurants, large grocery stores, etc., they get 2 a year. So initial inspection will be conducted. If they fail, they'll be issued what's called a conditional rating, and then they would get a second visit. Upon that second visit, if they still did not pass, then they would be issued a reinspection fee based on square footage. So currently in Section 8212, the annual licenses include an inspection fee in there, and that's based on their square footage of their entire facility. So that based off of what the square footage is of their facility would then kick in another reinspection fee of that manner. So let me point out which section I'm looking at so I can tell you guys. So if you look at 82-12 C2, C2, and then B2. No, not B2. Yeah, 3A. So those two sections are our fees that are currently already in place. So for 3A, if let's say a retail food place that's up to 1,000 square foot failed that second reinspection, they would be issued a $135 fee. And then they would be getting another reinspection to hopefully pass on the next one. And that same thing like the recreational bathing, prior to the next licensing period, we would want that fee to be paid. Okay. Did I cover? I think that's everything for the recreational bathing. I think the only thing else we added was a late fee for licensing. So just like we do for retail food, if they don't license within, I think 60 days that we give out the application. So if they don't license by January 31st, for the new year, a $100 late fee kicks in for retail food licensing. For recreational bathing, we license middle of the year. So if they don't renew their license by May 1st, the $100 late fee would kick in for the recreational bathing. Yeah. Yeah, we give a 30-day grace period for both. For the pools, they tend to open close to Memorial Day, so we want to get those licenses in before so we can do those inspections on time and get everyone in before the Memorial Day weekend. If anyone has questions.
That's for the outdoor pools. What about the indoor?
So indoor licenses for April 1st. And then outdoor, they license Memorial Day weekends, whatever day that falls on. So it would be the 30-day grace period for both.
Little confused. Way I read this is that on the first reinspection, there was a charge?
So, so after the first reinspection, so they would have an initial,
It fails. If
if the first two fail.
first re-inspection fails, there is a charge.
So they get one free reinspection?
Yes.
One free, yeah,
Okay.
one free inspection. If it fails,
Just-
then there's a charge because there will be another inspection.
Okay, because like here it says, a reinspection fee shall be assessed to a retail food establishment at the time of reinspection, okay, when the reinspection results in the issuance. So it's only that second reinspection. Okay.
No, you see, it's next to fail.
Hmm?
It's next to fail, not if it's passed.
Right,
then-
no, I mean,
No.
when I read this before, to look. Okay, all right, so basically, we're saying you can't keep having us come and inspect for free. And we're also we're not charging somebody with 20 different pools and spas the same as somebody that's got one pool. We're making it based on more of a use fee as far as inspections and also on as far as the size and how many different items we have to inspect. Sure.
So what we're basing it on, each pool within the facility that has a separate filtration system is considered a separate pool. And so each of those facilities requires additional work as far as inspections. So that's what that additional fee is based on.
So it's mainly WAC and HOAs, right? There's no other facility. There's,
So there's hotels, homeowners associations,
HOA and-
yeah, yep,
Well, there's that,
colleges,
in that Home Depot complex, there's a indoor pool facility too, right?
yeah,
The
Yeah.
goldfish.
a swimming facility, to teach children how to swim.
Right. So we're trying to cover our costs.
Basically, yes, the inspector's time, yeah.
Right, so you go out, that covers the
Mhm.
first one, then you re-inspect, should that be necessary. But the third time, then we're gonna start to charge. Because
Correct.
that's a lot of extra time from the inspectors and running out.
Correct. And with the pools, there's also an additional charge. We're proposing an additional charge for licensure. So for your initial licensing of the year. So each of those facilities, each of those pools within a facility there would be an additional charge. In addition to the charge for duplicate re-inspections.
So this isn't a profit-making thing for the
No.
township, it's to
Mhm.
cover our costs.
Exactly,
Right.
yes.
Okay, one other thing, on the very last page under F, it says reserved. And then there's strike, and it's underlined, which usually means that's something new. And then there's strikeouts there, and there's no new wording there, so I wasn't sure about that.
It
Oh,
looks like the entire section F is being
Yeah.
removed.
It's,
Right, file search, we were removing prior to Oprah, and I forget when that went into effect, but we had a clause where we could charge a file search fee for pulling files for organizations. We obviously haven't been charging that fee since Oprah's been enacted. So this is removing that whole section for file search and adding the word reserved under F.
Reserved meaning what?
I'm sorry?
When you say reserved? What, like,
Because-
how are we?
Well, I
What
guess.
does it, what does it mean?
Can we
Someone
just,
reads it
I
and they
guess
just see
that's,
that word. It's a placeholder.
It's a,
It's a placeholder?
It's a placeholder. Oftentimes, I think in some of the ordinances that have come to council, and I want to say the tree ordinance, believe there was one or two sections set aside reserved. So if there's a need to elaborate in the future, there's a mechanism to amend the ordinance and add further language to clarify.
but
Do we-
this one we need, it's at the end.
Depends what it means.
Oh,
Or if it's, if something of a discretionary nature, or something like
Okay.
it, just to have that word, I don't know what that.
So we can just
Yeah,
remove
take
it
it out.
totally.
just take it out.
Yeah, we'll take it out. Yep.
Yeah. and-
Of the
Mhm.
section, so when it's right in the middle.
Yeah.
The thing, like,
Yeah.
fast-paced, we like to have some language maybe in the future, but here at the end, you could just strike the whole thing to avoid it in the future.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would
Okay,
just take it
will
out.
do. Yeah, and this was a draft for discussion,
Mhm.
so
We're not voting on anything tonight. Just so everybody knows, we're just having a discussion with clarifying some of the questions we've had because we received this ahead of time. We had some questions. We're doing that now. We're making suggestions, and that way, hopefully, when we introduce this, it will be clean and we'll be happy with it. Does anyone on council have any questions? on
Quick
this?
question, is there, are the initial inspections announced or scheduled? They're unannounced.
No, they're always unannounced. When the only time they're announced are if it's a new restaurant that needs a final inspection to open, or if there's a change of ownership, we do a scheduled inspection with the new owner to go over any past issues and kind of get them up to speed.
And I imagine the re-inspections are scheduled.
No, they're
No, they're
always
also-
unannounced. We do give them rough timelines of I'll be back in 2 weeks, I'll be back in a week. But they're not, as per the code, they're not supposed to be announced.
Right. But the re-inspections have to happen in a certain time period.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's not written out an exact day amount, but we typically do them within the same time periods.
Fair.
Yeah, and then same thing for pre-operationals for pools. They're typically scheduled because for seasonals, they're not open yet. So the pool, we open them with the pool companies. But then those re-inspections, once they're open and running, are typically unannounced.
And the drafts are considered working documents. Are they public documents at this point, or is it not until the introduction when the document becomes a?
so they were posted on the township website, so they're out there.
Okay, I
Yep.
just want to double check on that. All right.
Do we have a timeline on when we will introduce this or target?
So ready.
We were hoping to go into the new year with the ordinances in place. So our hope was to introduce at the next meeting.
Yeah,
But
you
we wanted
have
some
to
feedback.
introduce, so everyone knows, you can't introduce 1 year and then vote on it the following year. So we have to introduce it where we have at least 2 weeks between meetings. So the next meeting, and I'm not absolutely sure, do we have exact number of days if it was the meeting after?
Yeah, I mean,
I think we can because we have
Meetings are
2
scheduled
weeks.
Weeks apart.
We,
so
yeah, which is unusual. Sometimes we only have 1 week, so
Yes.
we could, but if we could do it this next meeting, in case there are any changes or any questions, then that would be the best way to do it.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay,
Andy, I have a question. So have we done this late testing before or this first time we are doing?
So we've done it 2 times earlier this year, but it was in more of a school setting. And we had some feedback from a resident who was interested in testing some items. So we thought, why not make it maybe
Yeah, I
regular?
mean, my
Um,
concern is you are saying 1 to 3. Each house will have
Yeah, so
probably
that
20.
it's discretionary. That was just in case we had a line out the door. So if people can bring more and if we have the time, we will test.
Yeah, because I mean, house will have 30 spices
Yeah.
and 20
We just
parts.
want to give everyone an opportunity just in case we just want to give everyone an opportunity that comes to get something tested.
Okay,
But yeah.
and it's for your household items.
yeah.
Would,
Every Indian household will have 30 spices.
okay,
And just one more thing, the equipment that we use to do the testing, it's a very expensive piece of equipment. So we don't have a large lead burden in West Windsor. So we have not purchased that piece of equipment. We do borrow it from another local health department. That's why we are offering it periodically through the year and not ongoing.
Where's this actually being held?
At our office at the health department.
At the health department office. So you just bring something in, and I assume this is a non-destructive test, or? Okay, yeah.
No, I mean.
So you
if
can
they-
bring your favorite porcelain
Yeah.
dish, and you're not gonna take a piece of it. Okay.
If they find lead, they keep it.
Yeah.
And give it back. We don't do inspection for home pools,
For,
homeowners owned pools.
no, no,
So,
no,
okay.
just for any pool open to like public setting.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions, council, administration? Nobody? Okay. On anything for the health department at this point? No? Oops, thank you very much, Jill. Did you have anything to ask of us? I think. you're
Thank you
fine.
very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Jill. Thank you, ladies. Thanks. Okay, at this time, we're going to have no closed session needed for the Board of Health. And I'm going to open up the second public comment. Again, this is on just Board of Health issues. Does anybody have any public comment for Board of Health issues? You do? Yes, thank you. And if you can please, you have 3-minute limit, and if you can please state your name and address. Thanks.
Hey, Sammy Berger, 18 Park Hill Terrace. I wasn't planning on having a comment, but it was just something that came to mind. It feels like there should be some sort of minimum time length before reinspection. I mean, it feels like a thing you could say, oh, I will reinspect you every single day and charge you a fee every single time, which isn't a problem if you're not charging a fee. But once you start charging a fee, it feels like there should have like some statute of limitations. I don't need the time. I just felt like saying that.
No, I mean,
Thank you.
generally they will give you a reasonable time. I mean, if they ask you to do something with the R1, they are not going to come next day.
Yeah, I totally understand.
yeah.
Like with all reasonable humans beings involved, that totally makes sense. Just, if we're writing into law that there can be, charging for things you're
Yeah,
charging for.
No, I mean that, I didn't want to say that, but I'm certain people will complain to me that they're failing me because they want the fee. I mean, I can see that happening. So I didn't say that, but they don't do that. I mean, $150 doesn't move a needle on
Yeah.
the budget. So thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this point, if no one else wishes to speak at the Board of Health, I'm going to. Sure. Name and.
Barbara Brown, 5,000 Cox.
Thank you.
Because Eamon was checking that the inspections were only for commercial purposes. I just wanted to check that the licenses are also only for commercial purposes. For the pools.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Right.
Perfect, thank you.
So your backyard is safe. Okay, okay. All right. Anybody else wish to make a comment for the Board of Health? No? All right, thank you. I will close the Board of Health comment. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, ladies. And at this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the Board of Health meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Do I want to do roll call or just you can just do a regular? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right. Moving right along. Okay. I'm going to call to order the regular business meeting for West Windsor Township Council of November 10th. Allison, can you call the roll again?
Garwas.
Here.
Jeevers. Here. Mandel.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
Whitfield.
Here.
Okay. And we've adequately noticed?
Yes, we were adequately noticed on January 17th, 2025 to the Times and the Princeton Packet, filed with the municipal clerk, posted on the township website and at the township municipal building.
Thank you. We have already done the salute to the flag. So now we're going to go into ceremonial matters and topics for priority consideration. And today we have an update from the Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority. About a month or two ago, we got a email from the Sewage Authority alerting us to what's called PFAS, forever chemicals, new DEP regulations that may be coming down for sewage treatment. and some various lawsuits that are going on with various contributors to this pollution, and that raised some council concerns. And so I requested Arun Bosley, who is our representative, the West Windsor representative on the Stony Brook Regional Sewerage Authority, to come up with a little presentation, giving us a little bit background of what the sewage authority is and what possible ramifications this new DEP regulation might have, particularly as far as costs and availability. And I believe you've also brought Dr. Gail Downey, the chair, to help you with the presentation. And Arun is a professional engineer and has been on the commission for probably like a couple of years now. So thank you. Take it away, Arun.
Evening. Just for full disclosure, I'm a professional engineer, but in this case, I'm not representing as a professional engineer. This is just as a resident of West Windsor Township. So my licensure should be kept on the side, please. So a lot of people have asked about Stony.
Can you speak directly into the mic?
A lot of people have asked about Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority, what we do. So I am the West Windsor representative for the Stony Brook Regional Authority. Next slide, please. Okay, a brief.
Can you, if you don't speak right in, and it won't record. So
If you want, you can sit and talk. Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Thank
so brief history about Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority. So in 1968, our Regional Sewage Authority was initiated under the feasibility study was initiated with the Consolidated Municipal Service Act. The participating municipalities are listed above. Then in 1971, the Stony Brook Regional Sewerage Authority was established. In 1976 to 1984, total 3 wastewater treatment plants were constructed. So the first one, which we call as the River Road, especially during our meetings, we call it as a downstream plant that was constructed in 1976 to 1978, and it serves Princeton, West Windsor, and South Brunswick. Pennington and Hopewell plants, also known as upstream plants, were constructed later, and they serve Pennington Borough and the Hopewell. Long-term performance is like we have been operating since 30 plus years, and we have been providing a reliable and cost-effective wastewater treatment plant, consistently meeting or exceeding the discharge permit standards. And if any of your kids ask, what do we do when we flush or when we wash dishes, then all that water comes to River Road treatment plant. Next slide, please. So again, as I discussed, we were established in 1971, and we provide wastewater treatment services to the 6 municipalities. West Windsor, the River Road is again Princeton, South Brunswick, West Windsor, Pennington, and Hopewell plant. And what I do, I sit at the board representing the West Windsor Township, and we participate in the board governance and the committee oversight. Also represent West Windsor's interest in system planning and budgeting. And our meeting is held each month at the River Road Wastewater Treatment Plant facility in Princeton. If you need additional information, you can always visit us at sbrsa.org. Next slide, please. So this is our treasurer, I always call. And today I am Ms. Dr. Gail Downey. She is the chairman of the SBRSA, and she is joining me today with for this presentation. I would say thank you for her 33.5 years of service with the SBRSA board. She has, I'm learning a lot through her, and also the rest of the members of the SBRSA board. So we are appointed for a 5-year term and serve without compensation. Next slide, please. So one of the questions people ask, and actually it came through our town council member, that what happens when, where are we? Like what happens because of the new development which we are seeing right now? What if we reach capacity? What are our, guidelines for that? So here is a brief answer. The available capacity, the way it is calculated it's on the next slide as well, but just wanted to give a heads up. It's a permit flow minus the 12-month average flow and minus the inoperative flow. That inoperative flow is basically calculated based on the approved future development, which has been approved by the township from the neighboring towns as well. So for River Road, which services the 3 townships, Princeton, West Windsor, and South Brunswick, the latest data is that we are at a 29% available capacity. So basically, back in December 2023, that the capacity was at 15%, and the reason for that was for the rainfall, the rain intake. So October 2025, we are at 29%, and again, the reason is we had a very low rainfall recorded last October. Next slide, please.
Arun, just for whenever there is a new development, our engineering department figures out how much sewage they're going to need. And then they come to the council and the council reserves sewer capacity. So if somebody's going to need 100,000 gallons of sewer a year, we vote on it. We tell them, please reserve us that sewer capacity. And that's the numbers that you see here for reserve sewer capacity.
And this is the data. Again, it shows the River Road capacity at 29% and changed. Then Hopewell is at 34% and Pennington is at 41%. Next slide, please. So what is the trigger? Well, when can we know that we need expansion? So the brief expansion is that if we reach the 5% capacity, available capacity, that is the trigger for us to think about expansion. Currently, we are several years away from full capacity, and the interim capacity target, which we are looking at in expansion planning, has been already initiated, is at 6 MGD, and then the final is at 19 MGD. Internally, the re-rating option has been considered, and we are trying to re-rate our facility at 14 MGD without adding additional capital cost. So basically, it gives additional time for us for the expansion. Next slide, please. Oh, I forgot to say that it roughly takes about 3 years to complete in an event. There is a trigger for us to, increase our capacity from design to construction. So another question that came to me was about what is the recommendation for our West Windsor Township. And based on the most important thing is the inflow and infiltration assessment and the reduction of it. So with West Windsor, based on the data which I have been seeing, we are among the best serving for with the SBRSA municipality. So we are doing good. However, there are additional opportunities which we can assess, and the benefits of reducing that inflow and we call it I&I, is basically, you can see up here on the slide, is that it reduces the wastewater flow. That means that our treatment burden, which we do at our facility, is also reduced. That impacts the operational and the capital cost. So an example here shared through David Smith, he is our lead with the SBRSA. 15,000 GPD reduction means 62,000 per year reduction in our SBRSA base charge. So what we are SBRSA is doing is next steps is they are trying to host a January meeting with our sewer engineers and the superintendents and try to come up with a shared I&I strategy and see what we can do to improvise our system.
So is this, when you say we're doing a good job, are we pre-treating in some way, filtering before you get it? What are we actually doing here?
Good job in a sense. Basically, we are not having like lots of spills or like, yeah, you wanna,
When we say you're doing a good job, that means the difference between a drought year and a very wet rainy year, your difference is relatively small in the flows from the dry year to the wet year. By contrast, the township I was representing in a very small system would have something on the order of 150% increase in flow between a drought year and a wet year. And we just spent $1.2 million for a 218 home collection system to reduce that down to the point where we have very little infiltration. So reducing the infiltration reduce your costs, and it also will delay when we need to expend capital to expand. Princeton Township, and the work they did prior to this over a number of years, took about 1 million gallons of infiltration out annually. And they are just now starting a new infiltration program. Their section around Thursday Street and 27.
So the only way I can see that happening is if there's holes in the pipes that are taking water in, pretty much. So anything that stops it from being a closed system is going to allow infiltration from some source. Okay, and like when we had a sewer pipe, mainline sewer pipe that was bringing in some water at some point that we had to get fixed. At that point, we were probably paying to get clean water, go through your sewage system. So basically some form of leakage into the system is the problem. Okay, thank you.
ask me a question. Thank you, Gail. Okay, so next step, slide please. Okay, so there is a lot of, I don't know if everyone knows about it or not, but about PFAS contamination. In simple terms, what is PFAS? So PFAS is basically per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. What is PFAS? Where did we get that? It is basically a human-made substance. There exists roughly like around 15,000 plus human-made substances, which is basically the per and polyfluoroalkyl. These are all contaminants. Common example, and again, Andrea did ask me, well, who gets this? Who manufactures it? Other than the industrial, the household items, which you can see PFAS in as basically in water and stain-resistant materials. That includes cosmetics, anything stain resistant you are doing, the firefighter, the foams, then anything regarding like stain resistant clothing, I mentioned paint. So these are all the household items, pesticides, whatever you use, even your makeup. PFAS comes through that from household items. Right. And regarding, so there has been 3M. So 3M is the manufacturer of PFAS materials and for it's forever chemicals recall. There was a settlement done through the state, and we as an authority as BRSA and other authorities have also joined us. We are pointing out things which we don't agree with the settlement. It is a huge settlement done with the state of about roughly like $450 million. So here is a brief description about the PFAS contamination and the letter which the township was also sent through our SBRSA board. So DuPont and these other companies have been manufacturing and using this PFAS and major contamination site locations are Chambers Work, also known as Pennsville or Carneys Point, and the Parlin facility. This was occurred, the majority of the PFAS contamination was occurred due to the industrial discharges and also the consumer products, which I had already mentioned, and then the firefighting foam. Next slide, please. So DEP had enforced back in 2019, there was lawsuits filed against this 3M, DuPont and related parties to seek remediation and compensation for the chamber's work and the Parlin sites. There was a statewide directive requiring these companies to investigate and address the PFAS contamination. And there were additional lawsuits against this, the firefighting AFFF manufacturers and the component suppliers. Next slide, please. So in lieu of that, 3M came up with a settlement to the state saying that we will offer you $450 million in order to compensate for the natural resources, then also support the PFAS cleanup, which we have costs until now, and then also reimburse the DEP and state agencies for all this additional investigation and the litigation cost, also address the consumer part of it, and cover all the penalties and the punitive damages. The public notice was scheduled in July 2025. Next slide, please. So the state here, they are saying that, oh, good, we are going to accept pretty much your offer. And they are stating that the PFAS contamination damaged the water supplies, harmed natural resources, and has also posed a public health risk. So the settlement also represents, based on the state position, a major step in holding polluters accountable and funding cleanup. So the funds will also support for the PFAS abatement and remediation projects, and also improve the drinking water quality, particularly in Salem County and statewide. So this is the state's stand with regards to the settlement. Next slide, please. So the following slides are basically, I'm taking those slides from our attorney who represents us at the SBRSA. Her name is Diane Alexander, and she works with Marazzetti Falcon LLP. She's the attorney at law. I'm using her slides, but I have accepted, taken out some information and tried to do a bullet point. But the reference is with regards to her site and slides and what we are going to go forward with regards to this lawsuit. Next slide, please. So here are the key terms of the proposed settlement, which again I'm reiterating. So 3M is released, if we accept this settlement, 3M is released from the state liability, basically from anything related to sales, marketing, distribution, use, and manufacture of PFAS in New Jersey. And then, of course, they are also going to continue with the remediation and cleanup of the sites and the currently whatever are affected due to the PFAS contamination. Next slide, please. So covenant not to sue. So why this matters for us as municipalities and ratepayers? That the settlement is very broadly written. And then what it is doing, it is preventing all our public utilities for seeking any reimbursement for the PFAS treatment cost. So we as a utility, we are not the polluters. We did not include the PFAS into our system. This was basically an industrial waste which comes through the manufacturers, and then we as a municipalities, we have to, or the utility company have to treat and just make sure that the water is to the current standards to discharge to the rivers. So basically, we are against this settlement is because then we have to clean up the cost, and which will also add the financial burden to if we cannot cover the cleanup cost, because there is a huge contaminants being dropped into this wastewater treatment plants, and then the cost rises based on how much contaminants we have to clean. And that is basically, if we as an SBRSA or other authorities, we cannot cover that, then the whole financial burden will now shift to our towns and the ratepayers. So this is why we are trying to come up with this settlement options. And yes,
In addition, they have settled with other states and not put in the covenant not to sue. So the settlement that the state of New Jersey has proposed is unique relative to how 3M and DuPont are settling with other states. So that is a concern, is that for some reason they're forgetting about us, and it's going to cost the sewer authorities millions of dollars, which will then be paid by your rate users.
Is that constitutional?
Don't ask me.
So at this point, if I remember correctly, DEP is setting some standards for what you're allowed for your effluent. And if they set the standards at a certain, depending on what they set the standards at, you might have to do extraordinary investment in capital to make that happen. Is that where we're going? And just for the audience here, since we have got some people, if you have sewers, you pay a sewer tax based on, it's really based on your water usage, but the assumption is that you're using more sewer. And that means that eventually you're going to wind up having to pay for whatever this is, because they're not set to take a loss. We basically have to pay them by the gallon for the sewage. Okay.
Difficult here is that they're setting a standard, but they haven't set what is going to be required for treatment. So right now you have water companies using carbon to remove the PFAS. But then what happens to the carbon with PFAS? And one of the proposals for the water company is that they send it back out to the rivers and to your water, and it eventually comes back in again. And then we will have to invest in carbon to treat the water, et cetera. There isn't what I call a cradle to grave solution for PFAS yet. So the only thing that's out there is to put it on carbon. You don't want to go and send the carbon with the PFAS on it to a very high temperature incinerator, because you're sending all kinds of CO2 out and you're aggravating our climate problem. So this is an area where research is needed for what I call our real ways to destroy the PFAS that are not just move it from one medium to another. One of the biggest sources of PFAS is actually landfills. The leachate from the landfill contains an enormous amount of PFAS, one of the largest sources, and that's getting put into your rivers again. This is a very complex problem where they set a standard, but they haven't set the regulations. They don't have really a recommended treatment area. And it's, the potential costs are phenomenal depending on what they require us to do with it.
And this could go beyond the sewage treatment, because our MS4 permits are now predicated on us improving the water quality in the watershed. And each town is going to have to pay money to go figure out how to improve that water quality. And it's going to be a separate capital and ongoing expense. So.
No question.
Okay, and do you have any more, or should we open to questions here from the council?
I think there are
Want to
few
go?
more slides. I'll
Okay.
just go quickly about that. So next slide, please. So this is what we were talking about, the anticipate new PFAS standards. This is for fresh water. I'm not going to go over it. Next slide, please. And this is for the saline water. Next slide, please. So basically, the anticipated cost of compliance for this could run into tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, with additional, terms for like land and disposal cost. Next slide, please. Again, this is also the release of liability and key requests. This is what we are trying to tell them that, that ensure treatment authorities retain the legal ability to assert claims against any responsible parties for PFAS contamination now and in the future, and then other things with the covenant not to sue. And next slide, please. And this is just the scheduling order. If anyone is interested, you guys can look up. And I think the court will be there January 7, 2026 at 9 a.m. The hearing is scheduled. Next slide, please. Okay, that's it. So thank you very much. And with Gail Downey and David Smith, Diane Alexander, and the rest of our SBRSA team, thank you for hearing us and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We'll open it up. Do you plan I assume you've got a lawyer here. So you're planning a legal brief opposing this at this point?
I've already filed a letter with the DEP objecting to the settlement. There are other sewage authorities that have also filed letters with the DEP objecting to the settlement. The board has authorized Diane, if it seems appropriate with the AEA, to possibly file a suit in this, but again, she is working with a number of other lawyers for other sewer authorities, and we're trying to put together a common strategy because this is a very big issue for us.
So have an idea what are we talking about 10% increase on our sewer bills, 20, 40?
I mean, we're talking somewhere on the order of an additional 50 to 100 million capital costs and more, $1 million or more in treatment costs. So this is a very big cost item for us if we end up having extreme methods to treat PFAS. And you have to realize that there is only one compound in nature that has 3 fluorine atoms on it, and that's the fluorine equivalent of acetic acid. So anytime you find a carbon bound to a fluorine atom in nature, it came from one of these PFAS compounds. And there are actually 24 million of them. It's a phenomenal number, and society has just barely started to scratch the surface of what's important and what's not important in this area. So it's going to be a big cost down the road.
Yeah. Can I go down to Mayor? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I just have a question. Just out of curiosity, is the suit in the federal court or the state court? Because it
I don't think
says
it's a state court because it's a state settlement.
okay, because it
It's a
says
individual
US
state settlement.
US court. So yeah, no, I mean I just want to thank Arun and Ms. Downey for coming and making a great presentation. I mean, she's only the 3rd person to serve in this capacity in the history of West Windsor. Serving on sewer capacity is not a heavy job.
She's
Very
doing
sought
a
out job. So
We are
it's very sought out job. So I really appreciate she doing, and with engineering background, she's perfect. I just want to clarify something about the sewer bill. Andrea did say that we don't measure how much sewer you produce for every house. So your sewer bill is based on your water usage during the winter months. So 4-month winter month. So if you use water for your lawn or you use water for your swimming pool, you don't get charged for sewer bill. So your sewer bill is based on the water usage during winter month. Now there's a quirk in that, and couple of people have been bitten by that. We do have a minimum sewer bill, and that minimum sewer bill is higher than if you used a little water in winter. So if you're going away for 3, 4, 5 months, ask your neighbor to run your tap for few minutes, because otherwise you will pay more sewer for using zero sewer. I mean, it's a weird thing, and will take me 10 minutes to explain. So if you ever go away in winter for 4, 5 months, ask your neighbor to run your tap for 10 minutes every week.
Okay,
Thanks.
that's okay. That's not.
Some other time, there are people waiting here to make public comment.
Yeah.
So I
Okay, yeah.
really feel
Is
bad
there anybody who
bringing
has?
that up, but this is the only opportunity. I have.
Okay. Is there any other questions for the sewer authority at this point?
Kind of curious from a procedural perspective, is there value for council to pass a resolution in support of your letter to the NJDEP?
Yes, we purposely put all the mayors on our list, all the legislators, et cetera, and we would appreciate any support for what we have filed with the EPA, and I can get you a copy of the letter I sent if you want.
I believe you did send all of us that letter. So the question is, do you have some form of a template for what you're looking for?
I can get you one.
Because if we're doing a resolution we need that kind of layout for the facts and stuff, and then we can massage it. But yeah, so if you can get that, that would make it a lot easier than just a letter type of thing.
I'll get a template for you.
Thank you.
We should appreciate
we
that.
could
I-
work
that
on
was gonna be my
getting it
question,
done
so
Yeah.
thank
before
you.
end of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, well, and it's a resolution, so
Yeah.
it, it doesn't have the, what was the date you said that they were doing this next review?
Jen?
No, it was a December date.
September.
So we want to move on this quickly.
Yeah, so just get it to us within if you have it if you have one and can get it within the next few days, we can try to take a look at it and get it on the next agenda.
September 12th is the date, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So if we have another meeting before Thanksgiving.
We will get it to you this week.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay?
that would be
Right.
great.
And who should I send copies? You, the mayor?
Yeah.
Clerk?
Yeah, to Allison, she'll get it to us. All right. Thank you. Thanks a
Thank you,
lot.
ladies.
Yes. Okay. Right. That was interesting and a little bit concerning. Next will be public comment. So the same rules applied as for Board of Health, 3-minute limit. Please give us your name and address, 30-minute limit for the group of it. Allison has a list of people who have asked to speak first. So we'll go by that list and then we'll open it up to everybody else.
Okay, first on the list is Mr. John Church.
Good evening, John Church, 11 Princeton Place. Good evening to council members and administration, and glad to see you at this time. I think everyone's glad that the election is over with all the attention and so forth. I won't name any names, but I think we all know who the apparent winners are, but it hasn't been certified yet, and there's still provisional ballots and few mail-ins to be counted. But anyway, congratulations and best wishes to everyone who participated in the election. I know it's a real strain for the candidates and even for the public at times with the discussion. So all the best wishes for the future for the winners and even those who did not win but may run again someday. In the spirit of nonpartisanship, I want to congratulate everyone who takes part in these elections. I would like to suggest that anyone who wants to run for mayor in the future should probably run for council first. That's the way you really learn how the system works. So 2 years from now, there'll be another council election. So those people who aspire to be a mayor, I think would do well to run for council and see if they can get elected. Then they would know how the system works. Now I want to address the thing that really was the big issue in the election, and that is the warehouses on Clarksville Road. In my opinion, these warehouses are actually never going to happen for many reasons. We can talk about some of these. First of all, it's a bad location for warehouses. The warehouses have been being constructed in East Windsor. They were constructed in Cranberry. This is not a good location. So I'm anticipating that at some point, Bridgepoint will actually withdraw their application. For example, they would have to get through the Mercer County Planning Board, which is a tough hurdle to overcome. And you know that the Mercer County Board will certainly talk about the effects on Clarksville Road and Quaker Ridge Road. There's also the Bridgepoint flood hazard area permit was revoked last December, and that's another hurdle that the applicant would have to overcome. There's no connection approved by DOT for Route 1 access, so they would have to have that. And also there's the Delaware and Raritan Canal Commission who would have to approve it, and they might be worried about overflow into Duck Pond Run, which gets into the canal, which is our source of drinking water. And there's our own planning board and all the conditions that they impose. So in summary, I don't think this thing is ever going to happen on Clarksville Road. There are many other uses that are possible there. Some of those should still be investigated, and some of them may come to pass, others may not. But whatever's going to happen will happen, and we'll see what happens in the future. In the meantime, thank you very much for your attention this evening.
Thank you, John. Who's next?
Okay, Elizabeth Warner.
Hi, my name is Allison Simi. We're together.
Okay.
We came together. It's the same project. I live at Hollow Road. I just first want to ask for forgiveness for reading from my phone. It's just the sign of the times. And I don't want to forget what I wanted to say because it's important to me. So I came with my sister-in-law, Elizabeth Wagner, and her family. We first want to thank you for your support for our families in the district. And second, want to ask for your help in amplifying our efforts to make sure they have the food they need to thrive. We're partnering with Send Hunger Packing, a program at Mercer Street Friends to provide families in need with extra access to food during the long school breaks that are coming up in November and December. You might know in our district, 2% of families are eligible for SNAP benefits. 4.5% of WWP students are eligible for free and reduced price lunch. We have just over 9,000 total students, so that means a little more than 400 kids are eligible for free and reduced price lunch. We've seen a lot in the news lately, all the way up to today, about the government shutdown. And that's been a big driver for our fundraising efforts. Besides the students who were already eligible for free and reduced price lunch at the beginning of the school year, now we know some families have been affected by the shutdown and lost income even while the parents are still required to work. I see a lot of nodding heads. So I just want to take a step back from the news cycle for a second and just think about what that's like for these families who are our neighbors. Families of 4 that are eligible for free and reduced price lunch are earning $72,000 or less in annual household income. Could be a lot less. Meanwhile, we probably can all agree trips to the grocery store just keep getting more expensive, which leaves these families with household incomes half of the median in West Windsor, regularly making impossible choices. We know that families who aren't sure they will have access to all their meals every day are among our neighbors here. So if you do the math, Elizabeth did the math. Thanks, Elizabeth. The data works out to an average of 1 student per West Windsor Plainsboro classroom who's eligible for free and reduced price lunch, and whose family is making those impossible choices, trying to put food on the table. So if you have kids that have ever been in the school system, that means at the rates we're talking about with this math, your child has had at least one friend who was food insecure every year. Elizabeth and I are both WWP graduates, so I imagine I knew some of those kids too. And now we're raising kids of our own in West Windsor. Between our families, we have kids from preschool to 8th grade. And now as parents, we can't stand by while the other food insecure families that we probably know and whose kids are friends with our kids don't have reliable access to food. For the 400 kids, our goal is $100 per kid in the form of a grocery store gift card distributed with the help of Send Hunger Packing. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. For those who, thank you. For those who aren't familiar, we let everybody come up and do their public comment, and then if there's any response from the mayor or anybody up here, we do that at the end so that everybody gets a fair shot. Who's next on the list?
Did Elizabeth want to come up?
Thank you. I'm Elizabeth Wagner, 34 Nassau Place. I want to tell you about Send Hunger Packing. With Melissa Hager's very local leadership, it's been a huge help to our local low-income families. For West Windsor Plainsboro kids in grades K through 6, Send Hunger Packing provides a discreet package of food slipped into their backpacks on Friday that gives them breakfast and lunch for Saturday and Sunday. Unfortunately, kids past 6th grade don't get this benefit. My 14-year-old, one of the 2 incredibly well-behaved and quiet kids in this room, eats like a herd of horses. I can't imagine how low-income families with teenagers are facing this today. Our neighbors are always surprised that West Windsor Plainsboro students count so many who are food insecure. With this effort, we hope to raise enough to give every single one of those students, including the older ones, a $100 grocery store gift card so their families can buy food over the very long holiday breaks that we have in November and December. We also hope to educate our community about the scope of the need right here among our neighbors. Originally, we were moved by the government shutdown, but as we've heard more stories from our community, we've realized that our low-income neighbors needed this help even before the shutdown. Food is so much more expensive than it was a half decade ago, and parents depend on school breakfasts and lunches, plus programs like Send Hunger Packing to provide essential nutrition so their kids can learn and grow. We pride ourselves on being a great town for families. That's why Allison and I both came back to raise our families here. We started this effort to provide a dignified way for hardworking, low-income parents to feed their kids. letting them make their own choices about the foods that best suit their family's dietary requirements and cultural traditions. In my work life, I lead the foundation, endowment, and charitable practice of a wealth management firm, so I have hundreds of nonprofit clients. I am watching them in real time scramble to meet ever increasing need for food right now. As a parent, I'm really grateful for the resources that we have in this community. You probably saw what the district sent out recently with food resources for families, but it's not enough. We felt we had to do something. So with thanks to Send Hunger Packing and Melissa Hager for their partnership, we're trying to raise $40,000 this season. So low-income families in our school district will have an extra $100 to spend on those long days at home when they're not in school. Please join us. Mr. Mayor, council members, we're asking you to please amplify this project when you talk to local residents and when you're active on social media. Thanks so much to those of you who have helped us share this message thus far, especially Councilman Dan Weiss. There are 20,000 households in West Windsor alone. That's $2 a household. Donations should be made to Send Hunger Packing. It's imperative that they say WWP shop/Little Free Pantry in the memo line or comment field. Send Hunger Packing will leverage Mercer Street Friends purchasing power to buy the gift cards. Then they will purchase and distribute them working with the school district. Thank you for your support for our kids.
Thank you. Allison, who's next?
Lin Jin Ling.
Hi guys, my name is Ishrat Kamal Dogar and I'm a small business owner here in Clarksville Plaza, Global Grill and Halal. My name is Ishrat Kamal, so my colleagues, my fellows who are with me,
Could you,
neighbors, they asked me to talk.
Can you speak a little bit closer to the mic?
Yes.
Thank you.
So they asked me to speak on their behalf as well. Very small little business here. I have from last Sunday to this Sunday, I have lost almost 50% due to the clear of this road. It has an immediate impact and it has a long-term impact on my business. The immediate impact is I closed my shop today. I didn't open. So I wasn't feeling absolutely well listening to all this, but great information. Thank you for sharing that. It was a public information, so it was great. But my heart was beeping because this time was the time I used to actually work. So I didn't open my shop today, and I don't know what else people have in their mind. I have a small family. Long-term impact, the people who would not start coming to me, they will go somewhere else, and that's become their habit, and they will never come back again. So I really, really want to request you all, please, help us out. We need help. There are two kind of businesses taking place there. One is subscription-based model. You can imagine martial arts. People have already paid the money for the full month, so they're gonna find the way to drop their kids. But for us, if they have a 2 miles option available versus 8 miles detour, nobody's coming to me. So, my hands are here and I really need your help. I really wanted to see my own honors here to see why we are here, because all who were impacted, they're all sitting here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I have you sign in on the sign-in sheet too?
I did.
Yeah.
It's under the Ishrat Kamal Dogar Global Grill and Halal. Yes. So I speak 2 or 3.
And Allison, we need the timer going for the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Set that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next one.
Thank you. And as I said, we answer after everybody's gotten a chance to speak. So, thanks.
Next on the list is Sammy Berger.
Hey there, I'm Sammy Berger. I'm back from 18 Park Hill Terrace. So I was interested in the election, and I think I actually talked with Linda over the phone. And something which I noticed sort of in both campaigns, there were a couple of major issues: the warehouses, traffic, roads, sidewalks, and kind of a lot of the running theme in all of these things is people moving in and whether or not we should be encouraging that, how much of that we want. For example, the warehouses were kind of built in part because they weren't a new housing development. So something which struck me about this is nobody, I don't think, hates seeing other people around. The problem is the logistical issues which are imposed by having more people in our community. But as long as we're not like destroying apartment buildings, rather kind of slowing down the building or building new apartment buildings, so we're only getting more and more people into the community unless we are taking away housing. And in terms of traffic, focus on. As long as everybody is using their cars just as much as they always have been, and the number of people is staying the same or going up, traffic is only going to stay the same or get worse. And unless we start fix that long term, is to get more people to stop using cars. Now, I'm not an urban developer. I'm not an urban planner. I'm missing a lot of because I haven't been super involved in government for a long time. So I'm not saying I have all the answers. In fact, if you take my answer, I would be a little bit skeptical. But what I would like to push all of you to do, because the election was so close and matters to so many people, is to kind of start the process, get the ball rolling. Get the right people in the room, start surveys, collecting data, figuring out where, for example, it comes from, where the cars are going, where they're coming from, get some people that can think of solutions who aren't me, to start thinking of solutions which are more systemic than just a new road here, or a stop sign there. Because if we are doing it right when it becomes absolutely critical, it's going to be a mess, kind of, and it's going to be over budget. If we start planning out now a 5-10 year plan, we give ourselves room, we give ourselves it out over a long period of time. If we just start the process early, it will be probably more affordable, better run, better planned, and so on. So I just kind of hope that we can get off on the right foot, measure twice, cut once, that sort of idea. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Thanks you all for listening.
Thank you.
Okay. Morale?
No. Allison, is that? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you came from. Okay, no
Okay.
comment then?
So
Okay.
you're basically
Actually-
talking about the same local businesses.
Same comment? Okay, very good.
Okay. And you're from the Gateway business, the thing. Okay.
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 Okay. All right, that's it for my list.
Hmm.
Anyone else
Let's
like to
wish
come up for public comment?
Just jump in just because there was a discussion about, Purple Brown 5 Totten Court. I just wanted to say that, this chemical thing, yeah, it could escalate into a quite big bill. I was just thinking, you have those residents that have sewer and those that have septic, and hopefully those that are on septic, they don't get the bill for that huge bill that may come. And so that's just what I'm asking. Thank you.
Okay.
You need the presentation? You were taking pictures. If you need, you can have. I saw you were taking.
Allison, are we putting that presentation on the website, township website, in case anyone wants to look
Yes,
at
we
it?
could put that on the website, and if anyone would like a copy, they can always email me.
Okay. Does anybody else wish to give any kind of public comment at this point? If not, then I will close the first public comment. And Mayor, would you like a first shot at answering anything?
Yeah, I'm going to go first today. I see a lot of new people here for the first time to make public comment. Trust me, usually you don't have to wait this long. Usually it starts at 7:35. This is very unusual that we have two presentations and both presentations went very long. So apologies
In the
for
Board of Health meeting.
Yeah, apologies for making you wait so long. That generally she goes first, but I'm going to go first. So quickly, first, thanks to everybody for their support, for re-electing me for 4 years. Some are happy, some are unhappy, but that's the time of the deal. But I really want to thank everyone from bottom of my heart for the trust that they have shown in me. I'm honored to be the mayor, and I do it because I love what I'm doing. The second thing, a lot of people have congratulated me. I became a grandfather the day after the election, so that's a bigger win than winning the election. So I'm very happy about that. I jokingly told people that if you want to defeat me, don't worry about election, convince one of my daughters to get married and have a kid, and I'm out of here. The kid was very smart. The kid waited till after the election. So I didn't have to break my promise. Um, so I will talk about the bridge. That's a little longer conversation. Thanks for coming and working with Send Hanger Packing. Melissa is great. She started right after I became mayor, and I'm happy because she was asking township to open a pantry. We don't have the facility bandwidth, so I really appreciate what she is doing. I'll give you additional ammunition. When we did our affordable housing plan, if you look at our affordable housing report, you will find that 40% of people in West Windsor earn less than $150,000, and 28% of people earn less than $100,000. Now, people may think that's a lot of money. That may be a lot of money in Mississippi. Doesn't go a long way in West Windsor. CNBC just did a report maybe 3 weeks ago on how much income you need in various states to live. For New Jersey, just average New Jersey or overall New Jersey, for a single person family, the amount was 108,992. For a 4-person family, the amount was 282,714. Now that's average New Jersey. West Windsor is much more expensive than that. So add at least 10%, if not more, to that amount. So people generally assume that West Windsor is rich and everybody can afford it. That's not true. I mean, there are a lot of families who are struggling and who need help. And I really appreciate whatever you're doing. We try to promote St. Anger Packing as much as possible. We have a food collection at the senior center. And again, I try to put it on as much as possible. So that brings me to this issue of affordable housing, and that's being force mandated on by the state. It's a very complex issue. It's not solved by simply building 2,000 more homes or 1,000 more homes. And the state need to worry about how we make it really affordable for everybody who is here, not just people who technically qualify for affordable housing because of their income limit at a particular level. And I will take that opportunity and digress. And you talked about election and this. The problem is not the election was closed. The problem is that rest of the elections were not closed. That's the sad thing. The state doesn't care. The state feels you will beat up the local mayor and the council. The state has the ability to solve this problem, not the local. The state forced us to build 2,000 homes in last round. I have a closed session with the council for this round. They are going to force us to build as many homes in next round, some homes when we settle. Now, if they ask me to build, let's say 1,000 homes, I have to put it somewhere. You can bring Einstein here in this room, but 1,000 homes have to go somewhere. I mean, it's not relative. I mean, you can't build in the house. And if you build 1,000 homes, those 1,000 people have to get wherever they are going to get. And that's a problem, and that has to be solved at a much higher level than each township fighting to just manage that. Maybe a year ago, I met somebody who doesn't live in town, but he's a traffic engineer. I was explaining to him how the township grew in 31 years since I moved here. And then he asked me a simple question: how many roads did you build? New roads. And answer is sadly nothing, other than that little old village road, village road, and little reorganization of village road. Nothing has been built. And nobody will let you build a road. Nobody would let you connect two cul-de-sacs who are back to back. Forget about building new home. So that problem is not going to be solved by 6 people here. That problem is going to be solved by change in policy by the state government. People can beat me up. People can say whatever they want. They can elect 5 new mayors. Every mayor has his hand ties. When the state court tells you you have to build X number of homes, you have to build X number of homes. Otherwise, the builder will go to the state court and say, hey, my site is the most beautiful site in the world. let me build, I'll help West Windsor solve the problem. That is what the problem is. It's very complex. I can talk to you for 3 hours. So more important problem with the bridge. It's unfortunate it happened at this time. The bridge is slated to be, we knew the bridge was in a very bad condition. The bridge is slated to be permanently replaced in 4 or 5 years' time. What they did find last Friday was when they inspected that there's a lot of corrosion and a lot of things underneath the bridge is completely corroded. So they asked us whether we want to put a weight limit and take a chance. And I don't want to take a chance. I don't want the bridge to fall when a big truck goes there. So I told them, close the bridge. Now, the good news is everybody is taking it very seriously. We have had 2 meetings, one last week, one just this morning, between the county, the state DOT, and township. There were 26 people on today's Zoom call. So everybody is taking it very seriously. We did discuss a lot of options. They have narrowed it down to 2 options. They are going to go and study this week. We will again meet next week. We are going to reach to Amtrak 2 because we need, the bridge goes over Amtrak Alliance. So we need Amtrak's permission to fix that bridge because they need to close some tracks for some period of time when they are doing the work on the bridge. My ask of them is to keep the closure as small as possible, even if it's opened temporarily or with limited capacity. We will open it with limited capacity. But I can't give you a timeline today as to how long it will take. I can tell you it's not going to be 1 week. It's going to be longer than that. But once they come up with they discussed various options between engineers, NJ Transit, DOT engineers, the county engineer and our engineer. They have narrowed it down between 2 choices. They're going to go and study 2 choices. And I have told them our ask is to use the choice whichever gets the bridge in operation the fastest, even if it means limited capacity. And then we will worry about how to prevent bigger vehicles from going on there. So probably next week or a week after, I will give you a much better estimate. But there's every effort made to reopen the bridge as fast as possible in as safe a condition as possible. In the meantime, we did remove all the barricades. Originally, the police had closed the road right here. We have a message board outside owned by the township. We have put there, and we have asked the county to put a message that road is not closed. It says now bridge out. It doesn't say road closed. Originally, it said road closed. We have changed that. If you would think that another message would help you, let me know. We will put that message. I've also talked to the gentleman, told him, give me the names of businesses. I will put the names of businesses. I mean, subscription business, I don't have to worry about. He's right. I mean, if I have paid for childcare, I'm going there. Even if I have to climb a mountain, I'm going there, drop my kid. So all non-subscription businesses, just give me your names. We will put it on. We try to promote it through social media. We try to do everything possible we can, and we will continue to keep promoting it. I mean, you are part of our family. We don't want any business to fail. So that's the update right now. But we will keep at it and we keep talking. And I have to give both the county and the state credit. They have been very serious. They have worked with us. They have been on the call and they have been active participants trying to find a solution that will work for everybody.
Okay, Mayor, can we look at like rewording that detour sign so it's clear that if you're on the road, you don't have to make that turn where it says detour? Because
we originally the sign said road closed. We changed that to bridge out.
When you're driving on the road, because I was there last night going there, there's a sign right at Emmons Drive says detour. So it's not really clear if you're on that road, if you're supposed to turn off there. There should be something under it saying, please keep, saying stores this way, and maybe a list of the names of something that's clear.
I will tell you the same thing I told the gentleman. When you go home, stand at that sign We have put signs there saying business is open and stuff. Read that sign, give your suggestions. We will do whatever suggestions make sense, right? If you look at our electronic display board, message board, we have clearly put signs that business is open, that road, whatever signs make sense, whatever tell people that the businesses are open, the road is closed, we will do that.
I did see that there's, I think we have another, sign by the fire station. I think that's where we need to clarify a little more because a lot of people are U-turning there instead of going forward to the businesses. They're thinking the roads are closed, they can't go. So I
Okay.
think
We-
that's where if we can clarify
We will
that
do
the
that.
business,
We
people
will-
can go for the businesses, I think that would help quite a bit.
We will do that tomorrow morning.
And I think the police have those electronic billboards, they're, there, maybe we can put one of those up because the billboard here, the permanent one.
No, no,
Road-
they did
road-
put
yeah.
the temporary billboards too.
Yeah, but
electronic one.
you need.
Again, I mean,
because a lot of people-
whatever suggestions you have, just email us and we will implement whatever we can implement, whatever makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if the detour sign said bridge detour, that might make it more explanatory.
Or make it clear that you keep going straight if you want to get to these restaurants that, I mean, most people locally know the restaurants there.
Right,
Um,
yes, a lot of business are losing, and we don't want you to lose any business, so
Yeah.
if we need to change the signage or whatever we need to do, we'll get that done.
Because we all like to eat there too, so.
Like,
Just
I think
a reminder to also update your websites as well. If you do have websites and use social media, you may want to get the message out. You're open for business and, so on and so forth. Even though the bridge is out, we're open for business.
maybe Allison,
Yes.
we can get their contacts and we can work with them.
Okay. I think there was one other question from Paul. He wanted assurances we weren't gonna raise, charge him for, if he has septic or if the sewer rates go up and, you don't pay a sewer tax right
You
now.
don't have sewer.
Right, so he doesn't have a,
Septic.
he doesn't have a sewer
So I
tax
can
right
charge you
now.
for that. So you're not paying for it.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Oh.
This would come in the sewer tax, correct? So you don't have a
Not
sewer
really.
tax, you don't pay one.
It's a long, I'll talk to you. It's a long discussion.
Well, if you don't
You're
pay
not-
sewer tax, I think you're good.
Yeah,
You're not being
Yeah.
charged. Right. And if this, whatever they say were to happen, you will be thankful. And I'm glad I don't know.
yeah, we're just answering some of the questions from the audience, yeah. I
And-
think we've touched on everything, during public comment, I mean, or during council comment, I think yeah.
He hasn't come. I went first this time.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just answering here that during council comment, I think everybody here has probably done a lot with send hunger packing. I know I have, I'm on the committee and everything. So everybody will have a chance to up it and to, say different things that we can do. Thanks.
Township websites, the information about send hunger packing, it's.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's still there and continue. because
Yeah,
it's
and
gonna
we've
be rough.
been,
Yeah,
And
there's
we-
actually
okay.
several different programs.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, we can,
That I'll
as I
talk
said,
about
during,
when I
right,
comment.
later on. Marlena?
Yeah, I have two brief announcements. The first is Public Works has completed Zone 1. So we ask residents in Zone 1 not to put anything out. And the crews began collecting in Zone 2 today. The second announcement I have is the West Windsor Senior Center is sponsoring a food drive, and we're asking residents to donate non-perishable canned foods and unexpired goods to feed local families that are experiencing food insecurity. The acceptable items are non-perishable foods, protein like chicken, tuna, canned vegetables, cereal, ravioli, beef stews, soup, shelf-stable milk, etc., no glass items, please. The drop-off location is at the West Windsor Senior Center, 271 Clarksville Road, West Windsor, New Jersey. The collection period will begin November 12th and end on November 21st, and all donations that are collected will go to Send Hunger Packing and the Little Free Pantry. For more information, you can call the Senior Center at 609-799-9068. What I just announced is also on the township's website, as well as the Senior Citizens webpage. That's all I have.
Thank you, Marlena. I guess we'll go right into council member comments. Linda?
Yeah, the Send Hunger Packing is a wonderful organization. I think that you're going to reach your goal without any problem of raising, I think she said $40,000. So West Windsor is very, very generous. And even all, like I belong to St. David's, there's Beth Chaim, there's the mosque, there's just like so many, religious organizations also, so that there shouldn't be any problem there. And I think that as generous and wealthy as people are, that they're always looking out for others and to help others, because this is very serious. So thanks, for coming out and letting everybody know to be even more generous, because it's hard times for many people right now. The businesses we just discussed that, so I'm not going to make any further comments on that. But just keep us posted. Let us know, are the cars getting to the businesses or not? Do you need improved signage, social media presence, anything we can do to help you? Just continue to let us know, because bridge projects, whether it's major repairs or replacements, usually take a lot of time. So hopefully there'll be some solution to get that bridge at least partially up and running again. Okay, just regular comments on the 29th. I met with some high school students in an AP US government class. It's Mr. Garzio's class from High School South. So I don't know if you guys went to South, but if you did, you might have had his class. So it was great going before the students there and, making some comments and answering their questions. So that was very good. It's always an informative gathering with the students. On the Friday, the 31st, October, visited the Senior Center to celebrate the birthdays. They have a birthday club. So each month they get together and they have some food and there's always singing. Even Sonia has sung there, dancing. Andrea has done that, and heartfelt reflection. So it's a nice event that they have each month, most months, I should say. I went to 2 Diwali celebrations, Grover Middle School, so that was also a lot of fun to attend. And let's see, as we await the final certified results of the municipal election, I just want to thank everybody who voted for me. And I look forward to working with everyone for the next 4 years. And the election's over, so I represent everybody. And always, whatever input you have, any ideas, please let me know. Congratulations, Mayor and your wife Punit, for becoming a grandfather. He doesn't. But yeah, I became a grandmother in September, and at the tail end of the election season became a grandfather. So, and we had also someone else.
Little behind her.
Yeah, parking authority chair had a 6th grandchild. So I don't know what happened with this election, but it was fun. It was interesting at the very least. So tomorrow, November 11th, is Veterans Day. So I hope many people will come out and support the veterans, especially at the 11 a.m. ceremony in the municipal complex. So I hear the remarks and singing and different things related to that ceremony will be inside because it's supposed to be like very, very cold tomorrow. So we'll be here. So everybody, please come out and support our veterans. And we thank our veterans for their service and their bravery in preserving our freedoms of our nature that we certainly cherish. That's it.
Thank you, Linda. Dan?
Thank you. Just to make a comment about the election. 10,000 West Windsor residents voted this year, which is really quite remarkable. So thank you, West Windsor, for coming out to vote. Compared to the last gubernatorial election, that was nearly a 25% increase in voter turnout. Not quite as high as presidential elections, but it's wonderful to see people engaged and having conversations and talking about what's important to them, because that's how we learn to represent everybody, and that's the formation and what drives good government. Thank you for Allison and Elizabeth for stepping up to promote send hugger packing, and specifically for this one project. It's people like you in our community that make this community so wonderful and why people want to live here. And it's scary when you really think about how many people truly are suffering and in need. And that need didn't just happen because of the shutdown. That's a year-long thing. And I think we can all start looking at this much more seriously and continue to be generous and help our neighbors. There's actually numerous programs in addition to the fund drive for the gift cards. That's a very specific cash donation. As Marlena pointed out, there's actually a food drive donation at the senior center, sort of related because SHOP is managing that as well. The farmers market is also available for contributions. They actually, again, year-round provide assistance to shoppers there who are using SNAP and the associated debit cards. So that's another place that you can make in addition to the contributions that you're making today. So again, thank you for stepping up to doing that. I think you're really setting an example for everybody in West Windsor to start paying attention to these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Sonia?
Thank you. I don't want to go into detail because I think pretty much everybody has covered everything. Congratulations, Mayor, on becoming first-time grandparent. I think that's an exciting time. So enjoy the baby time as much as you can when you do get some time and to do that. Thank you, Elizabeth, and Allison, for bringing up Shoop. I do work with Shoop and Melissa quite a bit, so thanks for bringing that up. I know there's, in addition to the farmers market and senior center, there are many other food drives that are happening. I know in my neighborhood, we are collecting for Homefront and Trenton Children's Society. So there is, I don't see an issue getting to your goal. So I think that would be great. And I know in schools, we do collections through the nurses in various schools. I have kids in the schools right now, so, and I'm also involved with PTSA. So one thing we could do is, I do have a PTSA board meeting coming up. Actually, tomorrow I am in a meeting with the superintendent in the morning. That's why I won't be able to attend the Veterans Day ceremony. I can bring that up there as well. And maybe we can send out a message through the weekly newsletters, because that goes to every household in the school. So I think that might be a great way of getting the word out. So I can certainly talk to the superintendent and we see what we can do that. And I don't have much to say. I think we're good. I think everything is covered. Businesses, I think Mayor has already talked about. So we will do anything and everything we can to help promote the businesses. And if you can just connect with Allison, our town clerk, and we can figure out how we can help.
Martin?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President. To the businesses that have been suffering, obviously, due to the bridge, I have felt some of your type of pain before in terms of trying to market and promote to the local township. As I've said many, many times before, I ran the Windsor Athletic Club for 8 years, which is on Clarksville Road. So I know how difficult and hard it is traffic-wise to get people to come to your business. So if there's anything that we can do, This council has obviously been very, very supportive of local businesses for many years. And as someone who ran a local business, I understand the challenges that exist, bridge being reconstructed or not, bridge repair or not. So I understand what you are going through. So we're in full support. To those who came here this evening regarding SNAP and food insecurity, I've never hide or fearful of mentioning my personal family situation here in town. I'm one of the few, obviously, up here who moved to West Windsor due to affordable housing. I've lived in affordable housing the majority of my 19 years here. We've been on SNAP before, my family. I have 5 kids. My wife and I, we have 5 children. We've been on SNAP before. So much so, I remember many, many years ago, I believe one of my children in kindergarten or first grade wrote a journal about why mommy and daddy had a full basket of groceries and had to put it back because we had a card issue. So I have felt the pain for many, many years, and not just something that's going on now. Obviously, as Councilman Dan Weiss mentioned, these are long-term issues that exist in this nation and in this state and in this community to many. Although we do have a very middle-class to affluent community, there are many individuals within the fabric of this township who do suffer financially and food-wise. One of the many reasons I have never played victim, I've always been out here helping people because I also grew up in a very poor urban community in North Jersey. So I know what it is to be on the have-not side of things. And I think sometimes we're remiss by the beauty and the fabric of this community, which is incredible and great, and not realizing that there are those who are suffering. So I do charge this township and many people in this community do have resources, either financial or connection to businesses to obviously contribute and help for this cause. And let us not just look at the cause of right now, let us look at the cause in the future, because as someone who has had many financial difficulties, food, bills, things of that nature over the 19 years living here, they just don't always disappear. And we should never look down upon somebody. If you look down upon somebody, it's for you to put your hand out and help them get up. That is what we should do intellectually, academically, financially secure, as many in this community are. We should be about our neighbor. We should be about being a blessing to the next person. And as we do more of that, we will be a better community. So I'm in full support. I did want to write something. I did write a little something, so I'm being long-winded tonight. I apologize, Madam President. I'm usually saying I'm brief, and when I do that, it means I'm going to talk a long time. So tonight, I just wanted to say, I wanted to commend all of the mayoral and council candidates for putting their names in a race to run for local government in this election. I've run in 4 elections, 2 school board, 2 for town council. Congratulations to projected winners of the mayor race, Memorate, and projected council winners, Linda Jeeves and newly elected Joe Charles. This election, like most of the recent elections, to put it lightly, was very contentious and a close race and displayed differing opinions and ideas on the state of West Windsor moving forward. Many voices were heard from both election teams, but West Windsor spoke and the results will be clear, evident, and fair. From my involvement throughout the years and living here for 19 years, I've personally known pretty much every West Windsor Town Council member, and of course, Mayor Shing and Mayor Marate, who have been the mayors my 19 years living here. Understanding the dynamic and intricacies of local government, it is understatement to say that I have absolute respect and admiration for both them, Mayor Shing, Mayor Marate, and for all council members before us on this dais. With that said, I've said this before, but I will repeat it because sometimes it gets forgotten. I do sincerely believe we have one of the most engaged town council administrations we have ever had since I've lived here. And that is not any criticism of past township members or administrations. We also have the most diverse ethnically and politically council group. As the first Black man elected to council in our 228-year history, as you look at us, we have 2 Jewish Americans, 1 Indian American, 1 Polish American, 3 Democrats, 1 Independent, 1 Republican. West Windsor, this is true democracy, transparency, and the majority of the ethnic and political makeup of the almost 30,000 residents is represented right here on this dais. As a community, we should all be proud of having this diverse town council, West Windsor, has ever had in terms of ethnicity, race, business background, educational background, sports, political affiliation, cultural and social connectivity, and overall life experience. This is what true political involvement on the local election should look like, and collectively as a township, we have done great things to get to this point. There are a few that may disagree, but many who fully agree. So let it be known, West Windsor is definitely not failing the grade at all. Of course, there's a lot of work that remains, but we are on the right path and have been on the right path. For example, as township, our township has been voted one of the top 25 to 30 townships to live in the country, one of the top townships in the state. We do have one of the top school districts in the state, 2 top high schools on top 5 AAA rating, long-term AAA rating, and of course, our residents, as you are sitting right here, are beyond incredible. In addition, since the pandemic, the state of New Jersey has seen a huge decline in retail businesses, and we just spoke about our support for businesses. But in the last 4 years, we've had large growth of businesses come to town, too many to name in the last 4 years, when a third of businesses in New Jersey due to the pandemic did close down. With the aforementioned and many other important factors to make up in this beautiful, vibrant community, there's no evident and clear indications that overall this township has not been on the true progression and of excellence. Is there a lot of work to do, a lot of planning to do, and strategic and dedicated work to continue in the efforts of having an inviting, safe, inclusive, social, and cultural environment that is important to most in this community? An astounding yes. Too much is going on in this world right now for size and division to take precedence in this town. If we disagree on something, that is fair. But the hard work, knowledge, experience, dedication, commitment, sacrifice from our families, we as council, mayor, and administration continually exercise should never be taken lightly or disrespected because you may disagree on one topic or another. Let's show, moving forward, some civility and humanity across the board. For the most part, we absolutely do just that. But for some reason during election season in September and October, divisional comments and interactions build up exponentially. The nation is very divided right now. We see this politically, we see this on news, you see this on social media, on so many different topics and fronts. We can all agree on just that. But collectively, right here in West Windsor, there's actually so much for us to be thankful and grateful for. Our family, our health, our careers, our educational system, our neighbors, our police, our local government, and our residents. We have a beautiful community, and we are supremely blessed. Trust me, we are supremely blessed to live in West Windsor. Let's maintain that true fabric and essence of communal togetherness and keep building upon that foundation that was built well before many of us came here. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. That was very nice. Okay, my turn. I guess we've talked about the bridge, and we've talked about the businesses, and I think we're gonna do everything we can to try to promote, because we want these businesses to succeed. As far as Shoop, I've been part of Shoop for, I don't know, probably before I was on council. I'm out there at the DPW collections. I've probably done them 10 times out there collecting the food and we get cash. So the people here are very generous. We go out there, we stop the cars, and they say, "Oh, I didn't bring any food," and they'll hand you a $10 bill or $20 bill. Sometimes once it was 75 cents, but that's what they had. So I think this will be successful. I'm proud that our senior center is part of this collection. I've been with Girl Scouts as they've built some of these little free pantries, and I've been at the Zoom meetings of Shoop and the in-person meetings of Shoop. I've sat there sticking the little stickers on as we gave we set up the things to give to the schools. So I'm all in on it, whatever I can possibly do to get either, and we've been doing this for years. The SNAP thing has just made it more of an emergency, but this has been something we've been doing for years, where usually around this time of year, we go for the gift cards. And I know in the past years, it's been like, well, maybe we can get $25 gift cards and 15. If we can do more this year, that would be a really great thing. We did back at the WAC. I remember Martin would help us when he worked there. We did our collections at the WAC. Even during COVID, we put our masks on and people drove up and we unloaded their cars. So I think this town will be very, very generous when it comes to this. I want to congratulate, I guess, unofficially, Mayor Marathi, Council VP Linda Jeevers, and Council candidate Joe Charles on winning this hard-fought West Windsor Township election. And I want to thank all candidates at all levels for putting yourself out there. Only those of us who have run for public office know how hard it can be. I also wish to invite everyone to our Veterans Day ceremonies tomorrow. My father, father-in-law, and several uncles were World War II veterans, so this is always a very special day to me. Veterans Day comes around the anniversary of Kristallnacht, which for those who don't know, means Night of Broken Glass, when in 1938, the Nazi hooligans in Germany went around breaking windows and destroying Jewish stores and property. Today, we're seeing the same thing happening in Europe and even the United States, and I know my relatives who served our country would want everyone to stop and think what that kind of behavior leads to. Thank you to all who voted, including the 3,383 West Windsor residents, that's about a third, who voted early. Mayor Marathi, Council VP Jeevers, and I worked hard advocating for the early voting location in the middle of West Windsor, and of course want to thank the county for doing this for us. Sometimes you can do something in this job you feel really good about, and that's one of those times. Tonight, Council will vote on Resolution 2025-R232, which accepts our grant application to Sustainable Jersey for the Residential Energy Efficiency Outreach Campaign as part of the Sustainable Jersey PSE&G Energy Efficiency Partnership Program. Congratulations to West Windsor for applying for and receiving this grant. It'll provide us $2,500 in additional resources, such as a website and mailings to promote the PSE&G cost savings programs that are available to West Windsor residents. It's good for the environment and good for the residents. All residents are eligible, and the lower income residents will learn of opportunities to save on some or all of the costs of these energy savings projects. The ability to receive this grant money is one of the benefits of being a Sustainable Jersey municipality. We just received our recertification at the highest silver level, and I look forward to having West Windsor honored at the Sustainable Jersey Luncheon at the League of Municipalities the week after next. In the past couple of weeks, I've been to several community events. The wonderful West Windsor Diwali celebration was run with the West Windsor Rec Department and a group of community volunteers. The fire safety event was held by our volunteer and paid fire departments, 43, 44, and 45 at the Carnegie Office Complex. And then the Dutch Neck Cemetery, sorry, something in my mouth, was held by the West Windsor Historical Society. Thank you for everyone involved for organizing and volunteering for these events. I've also attended meetings represented West Windsor with several committees. The Mercer County EV Steering Committee, which is made up of Mercer County towns, met Tuesday, 10/28, and is working on switching the county fleet to EVs and improving charging capabilities in Mercer County. West Windsor is, of course, in the forefront, and we will be voting on our third EV for our fleet tonight. The Aspen Pink Watershed Committee of the Watershed Institute, which has been meeting for several years, also had its meeting on 10/28. Most towns in this watershed are involved. I'm thrilled to announce that we found out on October 30th that the grant application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection to fund a regional watershed management plan has been approved. This is, I believe, the first of its kind in the state. Thank you to Mayor Marathi for his letter of support to the DEP. And the Upper Millstone Watershed Committee of the Watershed Institute had its second meeting on Tuesday, 10/30. We're in two watersheds, if anyone's curious. And we will be looking to do a similar joint project for water quality and for flooding related to the MS4 permit. They also have many members from the Upper Millstone Watershed. And that's all I had to say. And Allison, do you have any announcements?
I just have a little more specifics about tomorrow's Veterans Day ceremony.
Include the sandwiches in it.
Yes. So beginning at 10 a.m. at the Dutch Neck World War II Monument, there'll be a short ceremony there. Following 10:30 at the All Wars Memorial here at the West Windsor Municipal Complex.
and ending at 11 a.m., or I should say, beginning again at 11 a.m. at the American Legion Centennial Memorial, and a Veterans Day ceremony here in Room A.
Thank you. So I hope anybody who is available during the day will attend. Go to the public hearing now.
2025-14, an ordinance establishing Chapter 166 entitled Towing and Storage of Vehicles of the Code of the Township of West Windsor, 1999.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing, which is a public comment just on this ordinance, the towing ordinance. So if anybody would like to speak on this ordinance, can you please come to the podium now? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Gauss,
Yes.
Chevers.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Whitfield.
Yes.
Mandel.
Yes. Thank you. All right, and can I get a motion to adopt?
Salute. Second.
Is there any discussion on council on this ordinance? Nope.
No,
Okay.
I mean, it came from the police department and it's been reviewed by the administration. It's been, have a big legal review, so, and then
Okay.
council review, so.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Gauss.
Yes.
Chevers.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Whitfield.
Yes.
Mandel.
Yes. Thank you. Consent agenda?
Okay. Minutes, June 16th, 2025, closed session, August 11th, 2025, business session. Bills and claims.
All right. Do we have, well, there's nothing to pull. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Gauss.
Yes.
Chevers.
Yes.
Weiss.
I think I have to abstain from the June 16th.
Whitfield.
Yes.
Mandel.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, and recommendations from administration and council clerk?
2025-R232, authorizing the insertion of a special item of revenue into the 2025 municipal budget from the Sustainable Jersey PSE&G Energy Efficiency Partnership Program, $2,500. 2025-R233, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the electronic grant extension request through the PMRS system for the project known as LA 2023 SST Alexander Road Pedestrian Safety Improvements. 2025-R234, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the electronic grant extension request through the PMRS system for the project known as LA 2023 Bike West Windsor Township Conover Road Connection to South Post Road. 2025-R235, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the electronic grant extension request through the PMRS system for the project known as LA 2022 Bike North Post Road Connection to South Post Road. 2025-R236, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the electronic grant extension request through the PMRS system for the project known as MA 2024 Woodmere Way Improvements. 2025-R237, authorizing the release of escrow balance for tax map revisions for the project known as Princeton University's Lake Campus, EN 19-10. 2025-R238, authorizing the business administrator to purchase HP toner from SHI International Corp. Under the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, contract number CK04, subcontract 24-38 with the County of Bergen, $5,000. 2025-R239, authorizing the business administrator to purchase one 2026 Polaris Ranger Crew 1000 North Star SXS Utility Task Vehicle, UTV, for the police division from Atlantic City Cycle Center through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract number 091024-PSI, $33,079. 2025-R240, authorizing the business administrator to purchase one 2025 Chevrolet Blazer EV LT AWD, including factory options for the Division of Health from Mark Anthony Chevrolet Incorporated, doing business as Pellegrino Chevrolet through Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, ESCNJ Cooperative Pricing System number 65 MCES CCPS, contract number ESCNJ 23/24-11, $50,410. 2025-R241, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a 120-hour service retainer for the municipal network from StarNet Solutions, Inc., $14,400. 2025-R242, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional services agreement with Center State Engineering for construction administration and observation services for the project known as 2025 Sidewalk Repair Program Project, $29,000. 2025-R243, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a contract with T. Fiotakis Construction LLC for the 2025 Sidewalk Repair Program, $145,866. And 2025-R244, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement for renewal of membership in the Mid-Jersey Municipal Joint Insurance Fund for a period of 3 years to expire January 1, 2029.
Does anybody wish anything pulled? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Gawes?
Yes.
Chevers?
Yes.
Weiss?
Yes.
Whitfield?
Yes.
Mandel?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, there is an additional, there's no introduction of ordinances, so we do have one additional 15-minute public comment period, 3-minute limit. Does anybody wish to make a public comment? No? If there's nobody, I still have to.
Come on, you
ask.
might as well make it 3.
Thanks.
Okay, all right. Oh,
So how long do these normally go?
We're
Uh,
done by now.
it's usually done. We did,
There are some meetings that have gone.
Usually.
some have gone very long, but this has a Board of Health meeting, so you have a separate meeting with, and we did have a discussion on a ordinance, which is unusual addition to that. We did have a presentation on something that went for a while, which is important. And there were a number of people here to give public comments and what?
No, it's good.
And you're making the meeting longer.
All right, now I'm making it long. So now let's go. Go on.
You should ask about this.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay.
that's it.
That was it.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know for next time. Thank you. Okay. All right. And that doesn't even include that we're having the,
Committee reports.
yes. Oh, and that we do have a closed session at the end. Yes. All right. Committee reports. Martin, we'll start with you.
Don't have a committee report tonight. Planning board will meet next Wednesday, November 19th here at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you. Sonia?
Affordable housing meeting was canceled for November. They meet next on December 4th. Parking Authority meets this week on November 12th.
Thank you. Dan?
Board of Ed met last week. 2 interesting presentations. One, their annual HIB review, which was very encouraging as they're showing trends of incidents going down. Part of it has to do with now this is the 2nd year in a row where they have some ability to predefine or prevent the HIB actually moving forward because they determine before it even gets reported that it's not really an issue or incident. But generally trending is going down, so that's good.
Okay.
Meaning that a lot of times people would report a HIB and it would immediately be reported in their stats, and now they sort of do a triage because many of them are not really qualified as a real HIB issue. So they've been given that discretion. This is the 2nd year in a row.
Is that it?
I'm just curious why you find that humorous.
Oh, no, it's just like you're counting something, but you're sort of changing the way of counting it. So
Yeah.
it makes it a little hard to do apples to apples. So,
Well, this is 2 years in a row now, so now we have a trend that shows.
Good. Trend is good.
It's all good. They also had they also did a report on the sort of their scholastic details. So a very detailed, it was nearly an hour worth of statistics and data on every grade level, going back 5 years to show how the various cohorts testing changes and improves, some little blips here and there. The analysis that also breaks it down by gender, by ethnicity. So, you know, the school, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, is really on top of looking at outcomes and making, you know, data informed decisions based on actual data and student performance. So very positive there. Recreation Commission also met, and I just want to highlight a bunch of capital projects that they talked about. I know last time I talked about, everybody's very happy about their planning to remodel all the bathrooms at the pool. That's still, including the floor. But some other things that, capital projects for in this sort of period before the summer, new picnic tables at Community Park and at the pool. After they do the repaving in the skate park, there's also new skate panels that are going to be put in and fixed there. Tennis court floodlights are being upgraded at the Hendrickson facility. New lifeguard chairs at the pool. New the big giant umbrellas, which they call funbrellas. Those are going in for the pool for next summer. And then the last item is the drone fundraiser, which is underway. I don't believe we have any commitments. I haven't spoken to Ken for a week. I'm not aware, and I'm not aware yet of any corporate donors. I'm working on a few, but nobody's made a commitment yet. And I also don't have visibility yet into what the individual fundraising process has raised. I mean, Jersey Mike fundraiser got about $300 out of that. I think all total, they may have had about 500, but I'm hoping that as time goes by, we will be able to increase that.
So are we seeing any resident donations coming in?
I don't have the visibility into that.
That was actually the Shoot Jersey Mike one did really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The problem now is that we have all these conflicting asks for donations. So.
I have a possible donor that I'm working on, so
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted on that.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda?
Yeah, the November 26th Shade Tree Commission meeting has been canceled. That would have been the day before Thanksgiving, okay? However, there will be a special Shade Tree Commission meeting on Wednesday, November 19th, 6:30 p.m. in Conference Room B in the Municipal Building. For that meeting, I'll be down at Atlantic City with the rest of you guys.
Yeah.
The Shade Tree Commission had sent the mayor amendments to the current Shade Tree Commission ordinance. It's mostly about their responsibilities and things like that. So I need to, if you can review it and talk to the mayor about it, because I'd like to get that introduced, if possible, this year. It's not a heavy lift on these things, but I want to get that one.
It's in queue.
Yeah, it's in queue.
Allison and I have a system.
Yep, right. Well, I want to get this one out of the queue if we can, because there's another one coming early next year, the bamboo they've been discussing. So they're going to finalize that on the November 19th. I believe we'll see that on the agenda once it's posted. And that's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the EC, the Environmental Commission, is going to meet on Thursday. So report next time. Okay, best discussion on best practices submission. Everybody should have gotten a copy of that. I believe we've got something like a 43 score, and I think you needed what, a 32, 33 to get.
Actually, I'll give a brief overview because part of the requirement of the Division of Local Government Services is that I give a brief overview. The Division of Local Government Services annually issues a municipal best practices inventory, which you have a copy of. That inventory is difficult to compare from year to year because the questions change. Getting to the questions, there are a total of 50 scored questions, 37 dealing with core competencies, which address statutory and regulatory compliance obligations and other issues critical to sound municipal finance and operations. The best practices questions total 13, and that involves fiscal and operational practices that are of significant benefit to municipalities, but are not foundational in nature or uniformly applicable to all municipalities. In our instance, most of the best practices, I think all of the best practices questions, total of 13, do apply to West Windsor Township. And then there are 20 unscored questions. Those questions are scattered throughout the inventory, and the aim is to provide information that the Division of Local Government Services wants to aggregate. Some of the questions, there was a concentration of questions dealing with the lead testing program. So they're gathering information as to, I guess, how towns are administering the program. In some instances, construction code offices are handling it. Ours in particular has contracted that work out because it does require a skill set that we don't have without having to hire another full-time person. So in all, there are a total of 70 questions. The score for those questions that the town answered, out of 43.5, the township scored 43. What this means is that the township will get its final quarter or final aid payment in full. Municipalities, it's a sliding scale. For those that don't score or score between 0 and 23, 100% of their final aid payment is withheld. I believe this is the highest score that the township has achieved. I want to commend all of the departments and the divisions of the township for following best practices and having in place checks and balances. So with that said, what happens is this survey was due to DLGS October 24th. This survey gets submitted through an online portal. It requires the certification of John Mauder, who is the Chief Financial Officer. It requires my certification as the business administrator or the chief administrative officer, as well as Allison Sheehan, the municipal clerk. The discussion appears on the agenda this evening because the municipal clerk must also certify that the inventory and the results thereof were discussed at a public meeting. And she must insert the date on which the meeting was or will be held with the inventory results and the certification of same by the clerk, chief administrative officer, and financial officer referenced in the meeting minutes. We have not heard back from the Division of Local Government Services, which is a good thing, because if there were technical or substantive issues, we would have heard from them by now. So I do congratulate again the work of mayor, council, and the department and division managers. It's certainly a team effort. I don't know if you have any questions that I can answer for you.
Just a few things. 007A. It's not for points, but it says if your municipality permits one or more classes of cannabis businesses, does your municipality impose a local cannabis tax pursuant to NJSA 4048-1? So we said no, but I was thinking maybe that's NA is not applicable. Is that what NA means?
They require us to answer
Yes
a
or no?
certain way. We had to answer no.
No,
You
okay.
either allow it or you don't.
Okay.
And the township, there was a township council, and I think most members that sit here tonight introduced and adopted an ordinance whereby we have chosen.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
just the way they phrase it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
this information is submitted, it cannot be changed, and it was answered in the format. It's preset. You select yes, no,
Yeah.
and in some instances, non-applicable. For instance, non-applicable applies to the issue dealing with I think it's business opportunity zones or enterprise.
Yeah, number 9 is not applicable.
Yeah, it's just weird because 7B is an if statement, and if the if statement is not applicable, then the answer is non-applicable.
Right.
But in 7A, it's also an if question.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
And part of the reason for the points, there are some points associated with unscored questions because it's basically extra credit, so to speak, that adds towards
Got
the 43,
Probably
the
would make a difference with this.
43.5. And all of this is discussed in excruciating detail in the local finance study.
I bet.
Yes, so I tried to summarize it as best I
Yeah.
could.
Yep, thank you.
In 50, it's unscored again. I don't see an answer next to it.
Again, 050.
Yeah, right.
There's no answer.
Oh, no, I think that one is a.
There's a yes, redevelopment.
Yeah, no, that one is a weird question because it asks this and then I think it talks, and then it says select or something underneath.
Well, I think it
Kind
means,
of weird
I think
way
it
this is
means unlicensed, like municipal clerk. And
Yeah, but then-
all
but
of that.
then-
So
but
I
that's-
thought you're supposed to write down, yeah.
Really, that question should have been a title for the questions below it, because I looked at that last night.
Yeah.
And it turned,
Again,
yeah, that's the
this
way
is
they
not
wrote it.
designed by the township.
Yeah.
Given to you.
It is designed by a state agency.
and they had to
goes
give a-
through a rigorous review process, believe it or not,
So-
before it's released.
No, they gave it a line number, but they didn't give it a yes, no, or anything to answer because everything underneath it were the answers. So that's how they had to get, they couldn't, I don't even think it's a typo. I think they had to give it a line number because that's the way they set this
This
thing
is
up.
how it's set.
And
I
then-
think so,
yeah.
or
So
professional
there is no way to answer.
Well, they're asking about unlicensed.
Yeah, but then
individuals.
it looks underneath, the next
one is about
questions
a
are the.
professional service
Yeah, the
contract.
next questions
not
then list
the
them
same.
specifically. It's just a way of, it's just. a
You can
form.
say discussion ensued, Allison, in the meeting minutes.
Discussion on how the DCA designed the form that ensued, yes.
Well,
Don't put that to the DCA though.
No,
So-
it's very specific. It was just unlicensed individual. Our professionals are licensed, so I'm not like worried about it, but it's just, I didn't see,
Yeah.
I didn't see an answer to that. That's all I'm saying.
right.
That's it.
Yeah, I know, it looks weird.
Should we see this before it goes
No.
out? No?
Yeah, we have to answer.
Like-
We have to respond
Right.
to it. We wind up
Right.
gathering the information. And honestly, this is not a function of this body. It's not a function.
That's just an information session.
That's right. The fact that we're
Right.
getting our last full amount of aid payment is what you need to know.
Right.
But the administration must answer this.
Oh, yeah, no, you guys did a very, very good job.
No, I think.
We only
it's
question
great.
this because
Good.
like, we're supposed to look at this publicly,
Yeah.
review it and
Well,
they
You're,
could make us-
we're discussing it, and that's what we did. We reviewed it and discussed
Right.
it.
If we saw
Well,
something
I
specific.
just want to say thank you. Great.
Thank you.
43 out of 43.5. It's great job, everyone.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work.
Thank you.
Yes.
You pass too.
You know, right?
They'll hire us again.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna send 2 down to DCA so we can work on next.
Is this yours?
Don't put that in.
No. Okay, we've discussed, okay, so we have discussed the best practices submission. We've done what's legally required. Any additional administration updates or anything else?
I have none.
None, Allison? Good.
Oh, I do have one. If any or all of you are attending the league, please make sure you attend the session offered by the MEL, the Municipal Excess Liability Fund. The township gets a $250 credit for each governing body member, and I too go through the training.
I thought it was 100.
No, it's $250.
I'm looking twice.
Yeah.
So if you're unable to attend it live,
What session
it's
is that again?
offered online, but
The mail
I
session.
really encourage you to do that.
That's for the.
We all,
Yeah.
we have to scan our barcode.
Okay.
Everybody that.
So that's mine.
It's usually Wednesday afternoon, late afternoon.
And and I'd like a report from each member of council.
Is the biggest.
All I know is they ask the same questions at the end each year to guess what the judge is going to say, and nobody ever gets. It's 50-50, so you get about 50-50 is the final.
Interesting.
Okay, we're gonna go into, so I guess I should do a motion to go into
Motion to
closed.
go
at this
in?
point. Yes, motion to go into closed session, please.
Motion to go in closed session?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Second.
Yes, second,
Okay.
all in favor?
Now I have to do my read.
Um,
Whereas NJSA 10:4-12 allows for a public body to go into closed session during a public meeting. And whereas the Township Council of the West Windsor Township has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain matters which are exempted from the public. And whereas the regular meeting of this Township Council will reconvene. And whereas the below stated subject matter shall be made available at such time as the issues discussed therein are resolved and its disclosure would not subvert any particular exemption for convening a closed session. Now therefore be resolved that the Township Council of the Township of West Windsor will go into a closed session for the following reasons as outlined. Discussion of there'll be no action taken when we reconvene.